In today's video, we're gonna have an in-depth look at Arturia's Keylab Essential 61 to see if this is the right keyboard controller for you. Brett Pontecorvo here at livekeyboardist.com, where I help keyboard players just like you with the ins and outs of Ableton, with building a stable live keyboard rig, and with mastering sound design. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Alright, if you've been following my videos for a while, then you know that I am a major fan of the Arturia Keylab 88, which is my main controller, and so I really wanted to do a review of the Essentials just to see how it stacks up. And I have to say, there are a lot of great things about this keyboard, so I want to start there. First of all, this keyboard comes in at about 7 pounds, which is pretty awesome, and if you're traveling to and from gigs a lot, that's definitely something to consider. It's got a bunch of faders here that feel pretty good to use. They've got a good amount of resistance, and these knobs actually, to me, feel a little bit nicer than what I have on my Keylab 88. In addition to that, we've got a whole area of transport controls and a really easy way to access presets on this side, as well as if you are playing beats, which is not something that I do a ton. You've got some pads here that actually feel quite nice. What I really love, though, about the layout is it makes it unbelievably easy to transpose and change MIDI channels. So I can just choose MIDI channel and hit a key here, and it's got the presets laid out, and then all of a sudden I'm in a different MIDI channel, which is amazing, especially if you want to just change between a couple of sounds. You can do that just by switching MIDI channels, which is pretty cool. It also has an amazing transpose function where you can just hit transpose and hit one key, and it'll do that for you as well. I've actually got a video about transposing instruments in Ableton, which I'll link in the card above, but that's a pretty basic layout, but everything feels pretty good. The knobs here on the left, the pitch bend and the mod wheel also have a good amount of resistance, and I kind of like that they're small. The compactness of this is really a beautiful thing. Now, when we get to the keys, I'm just, unfortunately, not as impressed. They are fine if you are recording, and if I was going to do a small gig where I wasn't playing for a lot of hours, and perhaps if I wasn't playing piano sounds, then this might work for me. But if it is your main controller and you're a piano player and you really like the feel of those heavy weighted keys, then perhaps that is not quite the way for you to go. But another awesome thing about Arturia and the whole of how they do their stuff is their software is amazing, and software, in my opinion, is a major selling point. If your software is good, then your product is going to be way more customizable. So I want to have a little bit of a look at what it comes with. So first of all, the Keylab comes with Analog Lab, and what's beautiful about this is it kind of just takes you through the best of everything that they have to offer in terms of their wide variety of softwares. So I'm here in piano presets, and piano sounds pretty good. But what's really nice about this is everything that is mapped here on the screen automatically is going to line up with my controller. So if I can change the hammer, soundboard resonance, I can add reverb. So there's something nice about this. If you're just trying to get some really great sounds right off the bat, it comes with a lot of good sounds. Some of their synths are also really cool. And again, everything comes pre-mapped. So this, for me, is a huge selling point. There are a lot of really fantastic sounds in here. So if you're looking for a keyboard that comes with stuff built in, then this is a really great place to start. Now, in addition to Analog Lab, this also comes with the Mini V. And this is a recreation of the Mini Moog. And what's cool about this is it also interfaces. So I can use this center knob here to choose between different presets. Which is just really nice, and this will allow me to do that very quickly. In addition, all of these knobs are automatically mapped. So it really does give you a lot of control over Arturia's built-in stuff. So before we get to some of the things that are not my favorite about this keyboard, I want you to let me know in the comments right now what keyboard controller you are currently using. I know for me, my primary controller is the Keylab 88, which I highly recommend. And in the details below, you can click the link to check the current prices for this as well as for the Keylab 88. But here are some things I think could be improved or aren't the best about this. So first of all, for live performance, I find that these knobs and faders are a little bit too spread out for me. So if you're doing majority studio work, this is actually really nice because it comes pre-mapped and it controls Ableton or Analog Lab really well and without you having to do anything, which is amazing. For live performance, if I'm trying to control things that are spread across that far, it can be a little bit of a challenge. So if I was going to use this, I probably would have to use an external controller. And I've got a link to my favorite one in the description as well. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, these keys are not weighted. So that is another selling point for me that I'm like, oh, if this had weighted keys, it would be a significantly better purchase for me. But for playing synthesizers or for playing non-keyboard parts, this is a really great option. Now, here are some closing thoughts. If you are somebody who is traveling a lot with a keyboard and needs a really light, really functional controller, this is definitely a good option for you. And like I mentioned before, you can grab this instrument for yourself from the links in the description below. If you are somebody who is working mostly in a studio context, this is also a really great first keyboard. It's not quite as good as other keyboards. It is good though, and for the price point, you really can't beat it. If you're looking for a primary live performance controller, you're going to want to go with something, in my opinion, that has weighted keys, which is just not this. But if you're looking for something, again, that is easy to carry around, then this is definitely the way to go. If you got value out of this video, please do consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I've got some videos on the screen right now that will show you how I set up my different MIDI controllers with two of my favorite pieces of software. And like I mentioned before, current prices in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time at livekeyboardist.com.